Hi, I'm Astrologer Penny Dix. Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to my in-depth look at this month's new moon on the 9th of February in the sign of Aquarius. Now, after the short overview, I will go through each of your individual zodiac signs. They will all be time-stamped by Jerry of Team Penny. And because it's really important that you know the part of your life that is being affected by these, in Aquarius's case, innovative, exciting, and potentially explosive energies. So check out your individual zodiac signs. Remember, it's always better to listen to your rising sign first, if you know your rising sign. If you don't know your rising sign, what I suggest is you go to Mr. Google, and there are so many websites where you can put all your information in, your birth information, and get your rising sign and where all the planets were when you were born. And if you need any more help, why don't you book a session with me? Sessions are now being booked from June because, as some of you know, I'm taking a short break from the channel due to forthcoming surgery, courtesy of Pluto in Aquarius. And Pluto is the planet we will come to shortly because, of course, this new moon is in Aquarius. But just for you to know, if you're new to the channel, that I really do try to make astrology accessible, understandable, manageable, and just digestible so that we can use it every day. And, you know, if we understand the blueprint of our natal chart, then it can really empower us. And that's something that Pluto in Uranus is about, because Pluto moved into Uranus a few days ago at the end of January. And with Pluto's energy in Uranus for the next 20 years, apart from a little dip back into Capricorn to tidy up in the sort of third half of this year, but basically Pluto in Aquarius is going to completely revolutionize the way we think, the way we behave, the way we invent things, the way the internet works. We will approach AI in a much more probably constructive way, in the sense that I think we will learn quite quickly that we have to be masters of AI and not allow AI to be the masters of us. Now, if you want to know a little bit more about how Pluto in Aquarius is going to affect you in 2024, why don't you check out my video on my YouTube channel, which is all about Pluto in Aquarius, and all your individual zodiac signs are time-stamped. So that's on my channel. Now, at this point, I think we need to start looking at this new moon. So at this point, Jerry of Team Penny will mysteriously and magically produce our chart for the new moon in Aquarius on the 9th of February. There you go. Just like magic. And remember, of course, the new moon, even though it's on the 9th in most of the sort of western part of the world, in the eastern part of the world, in Asia and China, it's actually on the 10th. And what coincides with this particular new moon of the 9th, 10th of February is the Chinese New Year. And of course, we will be marking and welcoming the year of the wood dragon. Now, I'm not a Chinese astrologer, and it is a subject I would love to study because I had a friend once who introduced me to it, and it is a massive topic. You think Western astrology is packed full of everything. Well, Chinese astrology isn't just about what sign you are or what year you were born as determined whether you're wood, fire, water, earth, etc., metal even. So we're entering the year of the dragon, and the celebrations for the Chinese New Year actually go on from the 10th of February for 15 days. So if you're anywhere where you can enjoy that, why not? So what do we know about this new moon? Because Jupiter, our planet of surprise, opportunity, our planet of luck and expansion. Jupiter, of course, is in Taurus, and at the moment it's very widely squaring Pluto in Aquarius. Now, what this is doing is it's expanding Pluto's arrival into the sign of Aquarius, so that we will be much more aware of the transformative energy that Pluto is bringing in with it. And, you know, the way you may feel or have felt over the last few days since Pluto moved into Aquarius is a little bit like you're being tossed around in a rudderless boat. It's almost like being stripped to the bare bone, so that pain becomes extreme and quite excruciating, whether it's emotional pain or physical pain. So you may have been aware of some of this kind of energy. So the new moon itself is squaring Uranus in Taurus. Now, of course, Uranus rules Aquarius, and so it's squaring the new moon in its own sign. So one of the things we can expect with Uranian energy is literally earth movements and seismic activity. So we could experience anything from earthquakes to volcanic eruptions, to political volcanic eruptions, to political earthquakes. So it can be on many layers and levels that we get the shocks that Uranus is trying to wake us up to. And it's a square, remember. So that is challenging. So even though it's a new moon, which we like to think of as positive and constructive, innovative, bringing in new ideas, intending our visions of the future, and we can do all of that. But, you know, be prepared that it might just come a bit quicker than you anticipated, and you might not actually be ready for it, so that it kind of almost pushes you into a kind of a bit of a corner where you can have a sort of meltdown in your own personal earthquake. I'm not suggesting that's what happens for everybody, but it's just that this Aquarian energy is encouraging people to take risks with new ideas, with launching new projects, with really kind of looking at how they can build on what they've already initiated, how they can allow the transformative powers of Pluto to enable us to give birth, to rebirth the ideas and the plans that we've already set in motion. Because I think what's going to happen for the first 2 or 3 months of this year is the energies are going to speed up. And certainly in February, the energies are truly going to speed up. I've got an overview of February on my YouTube channel that was streamed live. And it's a little bit strange saying that because I'm recording this video in the afternoon of the evening when I'm going to stream the live video about February. So this is the nature sometimes of videos and YouTube and all these platforms. What else do I want to tell you about the energies of this new moon before I go into your individual signs? Because Venus in Capricorn, which, you know, Venus is our planet of love and relationship, self-worth. It's in Capricorn where we may be, to a certain degree, cutting ourselves down to the bare bone, really nitpicking with ourselves, looking for problems that perhaps don't even exist in the way that we present ourselves and our self-esteem and our self-assurance to the world. It feels like this new moon is saying, stop it. Have faith that what you've already built is built on firm foundations, because Venus is in Capricorn, which is about firm foundations. And not only that, it's trining Uranus in Taurus, another earth sign. So the trine to Uranus is saying, be prepared for the unexpected, because you might be surprised how quickly your ideas take flight. And interestingly, I've chosen that word deliberately because Uranus and the sign of Aquarius rule aviation and flight. And there is something happening fast for a lot of you. Anyone who's been initiating, really putting structure into something of value over the last few months, even the last few years, you're going to see that energy speeding up and you're going to see things taking off. So you better make sure you have enough rest and take care of your physical body, because with these air signs, we tend to get a little bit caught in our cerebral thinking areas, and we do need to ground ourselves with the fixed energy of Aquarius and Venus in Capricorn in an earth sign, asking us to be mindful of our physical body as well. Now, Saturn in Pisces, Saturn, my big boy of change, of structure, of timing. Saturn really is a planet of timing. Now, remember, it's in Pisces where it is really endeavoring to give some boundaries to this Piscean energy that overflows with imagination and ideas and kind of creativity and spiritual awakening. It's sextiling Jupiter in Taurus. And so this sextile to Jupiter, which is our planet of expansion, luck, opportunity, is building on the energy of the Venus trine to Uranus and saying, put the boundaries down now. You can start really building on the foundations that you have already set in place. Do you know what? It's actually saying, please have faith in what you have already set in place. I was going to say set in stone, but you know, maybe some of the projects that you've been working on since 2019, 2020 have been set in stone and have such firm, rock solid foundations that they can really take off. Now, the other news I want to talk about before I move on to your individual zodiac signs is that from around the 10th of February until around the 20th, and really we will have this energy most of the month, it's about Chiron. Now, Chiron, remember, is the wound we all carry from birth, the trauma that we carry within, the trauma that we can often have from being a baby in the cradle. Mummy didn't change our nappy in time. Mummy didn't feed us at the right time. Daddy didn't pick up our favourite toy. Parents will never get it right. And it's extraordinary how this experience that babies have in their very early days are experienced as breakdown. When you see a child, a baby, crying uncontrollably and you cannot comfort it, part of it might be that you can't interpret what is wrong and what it needs. And I'm sorry I'm calling it an it. I should call it a he or a she. To be politically correct, there are a lot of other things I could assign to the sex of a baby, but I really can't go down that path in this video because it'll take too long. So Chiron represents this wound that we carry from birth. And it's often through the experience of psychotherapy, shadow work, that we uncover what these traumas are. And I'm not suggesting that we always uncover them, but we get a pretty good idea if we go through understanding our early life and our childhood as to what and how we experienced our parents as failing us. And remember, most parents try their best to get it right. And I will also say that most parents, in fact, all parents, will not get it right. Not because they don't love their child, but because it's actually humanly impossible to interpret what baby wants. So coming back to Chiron, so we have this wound that is raw and open, and at times it will surface and put us into a kind of state of almost like unconscious breakdown, so that we don't even really know what it is that is worrying us, that is undermining our faith, that is undermining our sense of being in charge. And the reason I'm bringing this energy up is that Chiron is conjunct in Aries, the North Node, for most of the month of February. Now, Aries, remember, is the first sign of the zodiac, and it's cardinal, it's initiating. So this is about healing karmic wounds. But this is karmic wounds that go forward into the future. This is what we don't want to leave with our children to resolve. What this energy is asking of us, and it's a byproduct of this new moon in Aquarius, is to work on ourselves well enough to recognize when we have to let go, when we have to recognize that if we are to not scar the next generation, whether that's our own physical children or younger people that we come in touch with, or people that we speak to via these medias, we have to be so responsible and mindful. Because from what I can see, the current upcoming generations already are carrying a lot of scars from parents of the 70s and 80s that are carrying the scars of their own parents. And I feel this and I see this because of things like ghosting, gaslighting. And I'm not going to go into these themes here and now because you're all aware of them and you all know what it means. And what it means as a bottom line is that people have lost the ability to take responsibility for their actions. They would rather ghost someone than say, I'm really sorry, but this is not for me. Whether it's a relationship, a job, a friendship situation, a social situation. You know, we have to, with this, or we have the opportunity with Chiron conjunct the North Node, to really work with this energy and be consciously aware that as we talk to younger people, younger generations, as I say, whether it's our own children or people that we come in contact with through whatever media, through work, through friendships, we have to teach them about responsibility. We have to teach them to get out of this habit of ghosting and gaslighting, because otherwise this scar, this wound is never going to heal even a tiny little bit. And so what I'm saying is that for around 10 days in the center of February, we have wonderful, wonderful healing opportunities to teach the younger generations to become more aware of how they come across to others and how their actions impinge and impact on their elders. Because ultimately the responsibility lies with us, and that's what we have to come back to. Now, on this note, I'm going to move on to our individual zodiac signs so that you know what part of your life area is being affected by this particular new moon. And I just give you a thought before I start the individual zodiac signs, which is, you could say, my thought for the month or my thought for the new moon. Set new intentions related to progress, related to social change, and set these intentions so that they embrace your unique individuality. I'll say that again in case anyone wants to make a note of it. Set new intentions related to progress, related to social change, and intentions that embrace your unique individuality. This is a sign, Aquarius, about the community at large. And I just feel that it's incredibly important to be mindful of how we affect others, because this new moon is not about being selfish. This new moon is about being selfish in the way we choose to empower and enable others to grow and take responsibility. That is our remit with this new moon. Now, at this point, Jerry of Team Penny will magically make our chart disappear. So, okay, so remember, listen to your sun sign and your rising sign. And first of all, we go to the sign of Aries. Well, Aries, of course, you always get a kind of double whammy with the energies of wherever a new moon or a full moon is, or where a planet transits into. So, of course, you've got Aquarius in your 11th house because Aquarius is the 11th house and you are the first sign of the zodiac. So if we go round counting the 12 signs round the dial, then the 11th house is Aquarius. So for the next 20 or so years, you are experiencing Pluto in your 11th house. And if you go to my video about Pluto in 2024, I do go through it in more depth, what you might expect with Pluto in Aquarius in your 11th house. But for the point of this particular video, it's a new moon. It's Aquarius, it's your 11th house. This is positive. This is really giving you a chance, an opportunity to begin projects that have really been on the back burner. Anything that you have not been giving enough attention to because life has overtaken you and has just taken you off down rabbit holes. I do feel, Aries, that you've been going down a lot of rabbit holes, and that is going to change. The other thing I want to say to you, Aries, is that within all of this energy, don't forget you, and remember to be aware of yourself consciously as part of the collective community. Be aware of how much or how little you take responsibility, or you empower others, or you listen to others, or you think about how am I affecting others. You know, we are also, and this is not just for Aries, we are all, because of the way we're made up, so ego-driven that it's just almost sometimes impossible and improbable for us to be able to think about how our energy impacts on another. But, you know, we get such a different dimension and view of life if we actually stand back and just have a think. How do I affect my parents? How do I affect my husband? How does he see me, or my partner, or my sister, or my brother, or my wife, or my girlfriend? How do we affect others? So this is a new moon where you have opportunities to change some of your attitudes to the community at large, and it will be ultimately so beneficial to you. So let's move on to Taurus. Taurus, 10th house, business, career, your soul direction, your soul path, and you've got this energy for 20 years. I think we're going to see a lot of Taurians hitting the headlines. Let's hope that the Taurians that do hit the headlines in terms of leadership, perhaps, of countries or governments, are a little bit more woke and awakened than some of the fixed, stubborn, old school boy networks that Pluto in Aquarius is endeavoring to bring an end to. But Taurus, what is this about for you on a personal level? It's a new moon. It's a new opportunity to do with your work. If you don't work, if you're retired, there are opportunities in your life to be innovative and inventive with the people that you mix with the people that you come in contact with. We don't have to have a career to be effective in life. We may belong to groups of, may belong to a choir. Taurus is all about the voice. A lot of wonderful singers are born under the sign of Taurus. Perhaps it's about suggesting that empowering and innovative music is played and sung, rather than miserable songs, for example, or songs about loss and lack and, sadness. Because what we sing about, we attract because we put so much emotion into it. We need to start singing, as I've mentioned before, about happy stuff. Because if we stay with like the happy song and Pharrell Williams and the happy song, we start to change the whole vibration of the energy of our physiological makeup. And we automatically attract positive energy towards us. But in the 10th house, if you're working, if you have a career, if you have a passion, then new opportunities are coming into your life through this new moon to put something out there that actually connects with the community at large. This puts you into the public arena. If it's a passion that you have, that it's something that you study, then it's about also using that same energy to show others, to express your energy and your enthusiasm with this energy to others. So be mindful of that energy. But in general, if we think about it as being on your soul path, then actually this 10th house new moon is saying there are opportunities for extraordinary personal change for you. So that even if you don't work, or you have nothing you particularly want to, or you don't think you want to do, you just might find you get asked to do something. And actually you look at it and you think, that could actually be very good for me. That could really, really be excellent for me. So just be mindful of that, Taurus. Let's move on to Gemini, because for you, Gemini, it's in your 9th house. Now, the 9th house, as we know, is about higher education. It's about aspiring to the spiritual and energetic heights of spiritual enlightenment. It's about long distance travel. But it's not just about physical travel, although that may be an opportunity that will come along with this new moon in Aquarius. That is quite possible or probable that you plan an interesting journey for some point in the future. And I would suggest it will be before Pluto moves back into Capricorn. So it'll be in the next 2 or 3 months. But also remember, it's about journeys of the mind. And I think, Gemini, because there is this focus with Pluto in the air sign of Aquarius, that you are going to be much more aware, focused, and I think your thinking is going to be moving up a notch. I think your thinking is becoming broader, and you'll become much more aware of these really sensitive spiritual energies that you will be connecting with. So you will be moving from not just the cerebral, but you will be bringing it into the whole psyche and soul, of your being, so that you incorporate this energy into the whole of you, and you start to see your life path unfolding in a new way. Let's move on to Cancer. So Cancer, it's in your 8th house, and the 8th house is ruled by Pluto. Where is Pluto? In Aquarius. So, of course, you do have Pluto in your 8th house. But you also have this new moon in your 8th house. But what is the 8th house? Well, traditionally, by the traditional way of looking at the zodiac, it's a Scorpio house. And it's about transformation. It's about beginnings, endings. It's about joint finance. But it's ruled by Pluto. So Pluto is in a domain where it is much more comfortable, because even though it's Aquarius, it's still natally its home. So it feels at home in your 8th house. Cancer, you are going to go through the most extraordinary psychological transformations. And this new moon is going to kick it off. This new moon is going to start a kind of psychological process in you that wakes you up. You know, it's going to be like things will become crystal clear for you, to do with investments, pensions, other people's money. There may also be something to do with wills and probate and these kind of issues that may be around in your life at this time. And this new moon will see you making progress with that, because sometimes, and I know in the UK, I don't know what it's like in the US, but, you know, sorting out a will can take forever. And, you know, it reminds one that one has to be so mindful of when we make a will, making it easy for the people that have to sort it out. Because even when we're dead, there's still stuff we have to do. We could arguably say we are around to oversee it in our spiritual form. But of course, it's not so easy to communicate what we meant by our will to those that are left to sort it out. So there's something about that energy in this particular new moon. Let's move on to Leo. Leo, so this is your 7th house, and as I'm sure you're fully aware, Leo, this is the part of your chart that is to do with significant one-to-one relationships. And you're going to have Pluto in this part of your chart for 20 years. And I think you'll find it quite tough at times, because Pluto gives and Pluto takes away. Pluto is the planet of birth, rebirth, but also of death. You can lose someone dear. I'm not saying every Leo is going to lose someone dear, so please don't get into panic mode. But that can be a manifestation of this energy. And that's more likely if your rising sign, ascendant, is Leo. But remember, it will depend upon the degree of your rising sign, because most people aren't going to be at 0 degrees. So do you see what I mean? It's not actually going to be imminent that something like this happens. So that can be a manifestation of this energy. But this is a new moon. So let's now look at the positives, because I think you could see a new stage or a new phase of a relationship that has kind of jogged along and never really perhaps got anywhere. And perhaps it's a relationship that you've had for some time and that you would like it to change to a certain degree, but the opportunity has just never presented itself. And so this energy of the new moon in your 7th house is giving you the opportunity to approach another and maybe invite them. Or maybe you will be invited to something which somehow makes you feel more part of a pair or part of a community or part of a family. It's going to be very interesting, Leo, to see how this energy plays out for you. The other thing that we can't forget is that 7th house Aquarius for Leo can also be about business partners. So a business partner could leave, a new business partner could come. Or you get 2 business partners for the price of 1. So it's a new moon. It's innovative. It's sowing the seeds. So it doesn't necessarily mean that very dramatic things are going to happen. So please don't, remember I'm talking about the vastness of these extraordinary energies. And depending on your own natal chart will determine whether or not you are particularly affected by a particular transit, like a full or new moon. And if you want to know more, I'm taking bookings from June. Remember, I'm taking some time off for surgery. So the booking calendar is open from June. So go to pennydix.com and book your slot. And so that's Leo. So let's move on to Virgo. So Virgo, for you, it is the 6th house. And the 6th house, of course, is about health. It's about day-to-day routine. It can be about service to others. Now, let me tell you what went on for me when I had Pluto in my 6th house, although for me it was Capricorn. I was a full-time carer for my mother for 16 years. Service to others. I'm a Leo ascendant, okay. And also, I had health issues, but they were normally triggered by other transits of other planets, not particularly by Pluto. Did my daily routine change? Yes. Has it changed now? Very much so, since I lost my mother and since I started up this business. My daily routine has completely changed. And am I thrilled with it? Thrilled to bits. Remember, these planets also bring gifts. They bring the positive. So, do not fear these major transits. Because astrology is so precise, it really does depend on your own individual charts. Sometimes I get clients asking me, oh, I've got Pluto in the 8th house. What does that mean? Is someone going to die? And I go, well, I don't know. It's 20 years. Who knows? It possibly may happen. So, I would need to look at your natal chart to really know what to expect. And also I add to that, I do not enjoy or like or want to predict sad things or negative things about loss. I can give people preparation for, say, the loss of a relationship, but I will not I will not predict, because all I can say is I was once told by a palm reader that I would die in my mid-70s, and I've worried about it all my life. I've let go of it now, but you see how it can affect your whole life. I was told that at 18. It was so unhelpful, and I can't unhear it. And who knows? Maybe the palmist is right. So I better make the most of the next 8 to 10 years. But maybe he's wrong, because actually we can't possibly know, I'm going to say we're not God. But, on one level we are, because we are a little spark of that divine energy. But there is free will. There is the randomness of life. There is the chaos of life and the universe. Nothing is set in stone. I could decide now to just stop everything I'm doing. Decide I'm not going to do my business anymore. I'm not going to do my channel anymore. I'm just going to sit here. Well, first of all, I'd be very miserable if I did that, because I enjoy it. Secondly, it doesn't really fit in with what's my energy of my chart is saying. Yes, one could loosely perhaps interpret it with Pluto in my 6th before it moves into my 7th. But it's so loose and it's so generational. Does it mean that every 68-year-old is going to just give up? No, it does not. So this is why I tell you these things, because it's so important. And this is for you, Virgo, because I know, Virgo, you tend to get a little bit anxious. You worry about things. And things are not set in stone. We have free choice. Life is random. Remember, the birth chart is a map. It's a blueprint. But who said we have to go down that road to the left? Why don't we go that way? The road to the right. Just saying. So think about it, because it disturbs me when I get clients who have been perhaps told things by other people that that is controlling their life and their state of mind and their peace of mind. So coming back to you, Virgo, you're going to have this energy for 20 years. Hey, you like service to others anyway. So if that's part of what you're doing, then you will be serving the community at large. So it will be in much more of a public way. Is it about your day-to-day routine? And it's a new moon. I really feel that it might be an opportunity with this new moon to look at anything that you're particularly worried about with regard to your health, because it may just be absolutely nothing. And sometimes we need to go to the doctor, have the checks, just to put our mind at ease. Because this new moon is telling me you are in a position now where you can manage your life in a way where you connect much more with the community at large and really enjoy that and come up with innovative, inventive ideas of how to help people help themselves. Let's move on to Libra. So Libra, it's in your 5th house. So the 5th house is what I call the house of fun. Welcome to the house of fun. It's a Leo house by zodiac sign, but in your chart, it's Aquarius. So Libra, you do like getting out there, out and about and seeing everybody and being part of the community at large. And it's a new moon for you. So it can be new ideas to do with creative projects that you would like to pursue. This can also be about children. I mean, some of you, if you're trying to get pregnant, this could bring an unexpected pregnancy. That's how disruptive and explosive this Aquarian energy can be. And also because it's a relaxed house, it's the house of entertainment, you'll take everything in your stride. So, as I said, it's a new moon. You may want to take up a new hobby. What I'm seeing is Librans perhaps wanting to choose something that uses their creative juices a little more, like an easel and a canvas and a palette of paint. And just giving it a go and just seeing how they feel. So Libra, I think that with regard to children, it could also be that if you have children, an unexpected pregnancy. There is always that potential with an Aquarian new moon in this part of your chart, especially because Pluto is here. Pluto is going to transform your social life. It's going to change beyond all recognition. Whatever age you are, it's changing. Let's move on to Scorpio. So Scorpio, it's your 4th house. And this is the part of your chart that is about home, family, and ancestry. If you haven't already, some of you may be thinking of checking out your ancestry through one of these sites, companies, where you just send off a little bit of your DNA, a swab from the mouth or whichever particular system they use to see where your roots are. I did it. It's ever such fun. I discovered I'm really a Viking. Well, I think we can tell that probably from looking at me. But I'm Nordic, Scandi Nordic, and a bit of German, and a bit of Irish, just for the mix. But you know what? The Irish get everywhere. And I talk to people, and it's like everyone I meet has a bit of Irish. But thank goodness, because Irish genetic DNA gives us our ability to see the funny side of life, because the Irish have the most amazing sense of humour. But Scorpio, you're a private, deep, dark personality with a dark shadow should anyone cross you. But this is Aquarius and it's a new moon. So it's new things or new opportunities for you to change your dwelling place. It may be that some of you are looking for the ideal place to move to. Doesn't matter whether it's bought or rental. But some of you maybe have been looking or searching or dreaming or thinking, and this could see that particular place of residence coming up. It's also, Scorpio, an opportunity for you to heal some rifts or space that's happened with certain family members, because the sign of Aquarius tends to keep us remote. And what it does in your 4th house is it means you have always stayed a bit distant from family and family members, not deliberately or because you don't like them or get on with them or love them, just because you tend to stay a bit distant. So what this energy is saying is this is a great opportunity to reconnect make some inroads, send out some invites. Hey, why don't you come over to mine for Sunday lunch? Or come and spend a weekend with me. These kind of innovative and maybe unexpected invitations that you send their way. So that's the energy I feel is around for you with this particular new moon, Scorpio. So now let's move on to Sagittarius, third house. Well, the third house, of course, is all about communication. Well, it's not just about communication. It's also about our local community and connecting with our local community. So if you think about Aquarius as being the community at large, it may be, Sagittarius, that you've been keeping yourself a little bit distant and remote, and you need to start going out there and just connecting a little bit with your friends and using this new moon energy to do that. Because, you know, we've got this powerful energy that we're getting through February of both Venus, Mars, and Pluto, all being conjunct, including Mercury, the sign of Pluto in Aquarius. This has never happened. Sagittarius, you're going to do things in a communication sense, like some of you are going to write books, blogs, do podcasts, but you're going to do things you never thought you would ever do. It's a very innovative, inventive new moon for you. And we'll see a lot of you getting public recognition. Let's move on to Capricorn. So Capricorn, it's in your second house. Now, as we know, the second house is about self-worth, the economy, your economy, how you make your money, how you accrue and build your vast empire. And of course, you're coming out of the experience of Pluto in your sign. And no Capricorn will be the same person they were when Capricorn entered your sign nearly 20 years ago. None of you will be the same. You will have all changed in the most extraordinary ways. So with Pluto moving into your second house and a new moon here, and remember the new moon is at 20 degrees, so it's not actually conjunct Pluto. And in fact, the only aspect we have, just to remind myself of the aspect to the new moon, is we've got Uranus in Taurus squaring this new moon. So Uranus in your house of fun is squaring the new moon in your second house. So this is kind of a bit of a kind of a dichotomy, because I think what it's saying is, yeah, I know, Capricorn, you need to get out there and circulate and have fun. Enough navel picking, you're saying. You've been doing the inner work for too long. You know yourself inside out and upside down, and many of you do. But please do remember, Capricorn, we never actually get there. So even on our deathbed, we'll be going, oh, wow, well, that's interesting. I never thought I'd understand life in that way at this point. So remember, we have to find a certain humility when letting go of these major planets that are transiting our sign. Yes, Pluto gives you a gift as it moves into your second house. And this new moon in your second house is really giving you the opportunity to make some inroads with how you accrue your money, how you choose to spend your money, how you choose to invest it. Remember, it brings in the energy of the opposite house, which is Leo, which is your 8th house. So remember that you've got to, it just feels like you need to bring in, it feels like there's cobwebs in your accounts, and you really need to go and make a clean sweep of the way you are managing things in terms of your finances. And if you do that, then you use this new moon energy in the best possible way. Okay? So now let's move on to Aquarius. Aquarius. First house, your sign, your new moon, your Pluto. Pluto sitting on your ascendant. Or for some of you, it will still be in the 12th house, putting you through the mill and turning you inside out still. But, you know, I talk about the experience of Pluto in Aquarius for you in my Pluto in Aquarius in 2024 video. So remember to check that out. But this new moon is really giving you an opportunity to spread your wings. This is giving you an opportunity to have what I call eagle sight. You are going to be able to feel as if you've been set free. There is something about the freedom, the release, the rebelliousness, the innovative thinking as you soar to the heights. And with this new moon, finally see the bigger picture that is unfolding for you. Because we all have a bigger picture that we have to envision. And this new moon is giving you this personal opportunity to really join up some of the dots and see the complexity of how your future is unfolding. And the complexity not in a confusing way, but in an intrinsically intricate pattern of immense beauty and kind of, I want to say, chemical interactions that really enable and empower you to connect with divine energy and utilize it into your everyday work and life. Now we move on finally to Pisces, my oceans of emotions. Hi, Pisces. Well, 20 years in your 12th house. I hope you've got a good therapist. You might need one, because I've talked about this in my 2024 video for Pluto in Aquarius in your 12th house. So you can refer to the Pluto in Aquarius video to see what this energy is all about for you. But this is a new moon in this part of your chart that is really encouraging you to understand yourself in ways that have just been unavailable to you. And this new moon is coming on time. You know, Pluto couldn't have come into your sign, or rather into your 12th house, at the more perfect time. It's coming in at a time when a new moon, soon after Pluto's move into your 12th house, is helping you to rise up and understand yourself in a way that you've not been able to see before. I think for a while you are going to still feel emotionally imprisoned, and there is still some more shedding of unwanted energies, negative people, negative groups that really, really do not serve you well. And with this this pull of wanting to break out, you will break out, you will break free, Pisces, but maybe not in any of the ways that you can envisage at the moment. Pluto in Aquarius in your 12th house is going to wake you up on levels you never thought possible. And this new moon is inviting you to set those intentions. There we go. So at this point, I've gone 6 minutes over the hour. So I try and keep them tight to an hour, but I've just gone over. Now I'm going to ramble away about please like and subscribe to the channel. Please share with your friends. And remember to go to my website, pennydix.com, if you would like to book a session, taking bookings from June. And just to remind you, this is delayed sessions because I am having back surgery, so will be out of the loop for a while. That's courtesy of Saturn in Pisces conjunct my moon. But I will probably do a video about that later on when I'm the other side of surgery, because it's quite interesting to see sometimes how the astrology plays out in our charts. But I also want to say, before I end this new moon in Aquarius video, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, all of you, for your support. It is truly, truly valued. And thank you to all the people that do choose me to come to for a consultation. I really value your presence. And apologies to any of you that I have unwittingly or unavoidably let down, overseen, overmissed. I'm human. And sometimes I don't get back to emails quickly enough. But I've got plenty of time when I'm in recuperation to solve some of my kind of management of the business difficulties. Let's put it that way. So on that note, thank you all so much for joining me for this new moon in Aquarius. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.